Hey everybody, Sayre at Nova Motorcycles. Back here working on a Goldwing with a Volkswagen carb conversion, and it's kind of fun. Kind of sucks. Not sure why somebody wants this conversion, but a lot of people like it. A lot of wrestling, but we're gonna get there. Kind of sounds cool when it does run. But we want to talk about a cool event that we're going to do here in a couple of weeks. It's called the Unsprung Moto Road Rally. We've done it for a few years, but we skipped a few years. We did manage one right after COVID, but haven't been able to get it back together. COVID kind of, with many things, just knocked all the balls loose, and we're picking up the pieces. But we're back to it. So we'll get into describing exactly what it is in a sec, but let's make our way up through the shop. A little quick tour of what we got going on. A Victory. I'm going to just start calling these bikes the precursors to the Indian, the modern Indian. Polaris had the Victory brand before they bought the Indian name, and didn't want to compete with their own selves, so they put Victory out of business. But they're actually quite nice bikes for cruisers. A mainstay of the classic cruising world, the Yamaha Virago. Can't remember if we saw this one before or one just like it, but Virago 750. A lot to say about it, and not a lot to not say about them as well. Some of the stuff we've seen before, some of our projects. The beautiful Ducati Monster in here for a little charging issue. And up into our lobby here, actually we have some newcomers. PSA Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt is a single carb version of the A65 Twin, 650 Twin. Done a couple videos on those now, but we haven't seen this one. And we have our trusty Triumph T120, which is actually going to a new home soon. What worked was to get this magic charm from a friend of ours. The week this showed up, which is the exact same bike, just as a random gift. Somebody walked in and said, "Hey, I want that bike," and so now he gets the toy with it. Yeah, we actually have a new. This is a GS 1000, GS 1000 BMW that we just sold for a customer on the Iconic Bikes website, which is a new one for us. Great experience with those guys. No affiliation, but we use them as we use Bring a Trailer and eBay and those kind of spots. So we helped somebody sell that. It's going to a new home. It's a really nice example of stuff. My trusty race bike, which if you follow us, you've seen. It's done for the season, sadly. We're awaiting a new rear tire and some new rear shocks, and that's to be put away till next year, unfortunately. But yeah, let's talk about the Unsprung. Now, the Unsprung is we call it the Moto Giro Lite. It's a poster from an older Moto Giro USA. The Moto Giro USA was designed by our fearless leader in the United States Classic Racing Association, Bob Coy, and it's based on the Italian Moto Giro d'Italia. I'm going to say that completely wrong, and the pronunciation is all over the place. Some people call it the Gyro. Those are probably the same people who call Moto Guzzi's Moto Guzzi's, but we're not going to. We still love you. But we have an expert here, so maybe Sam can tell us exactly how do you say it.
Moto Giro, grazie.
Straight from the horse's mouth, Moto Giro. So we call it the Giro. The Moto Giro d'Italia, we'll just call it the Italian Moto Giro, back in the day was one of many, or one of several, long distance road races in Italy, where they would take race bikes, real race bikes, kind of like the Isle of Man today and the Isle of Man back then, and race them all throughout Italy. I believe it was north to south, but could be south to north. But long distance up through Italy. It was a real race, and whoever got there fastest and through time sections won. They brought it back as a historic event several years ago, and essentially it's run as a times trial, much like an enduro on an off-road bike, where you are given stages. You have to complete them within a time period. If you go too fast, and also like a rally race, if you go too fast, you get dock points. If you go too slow, you get dock points. You're supposed to arrive on time. The Moto Giro in Italy is open to bikes from very little to 750 Ducatis run them, 900 Ducatis run them, all classic because it's a classic event now. So Bob Coy saw that, liked what was happening, and introduced the Moto Giro USA about 20 years ago. It's been a while. I think the first one had maybe 10 riders or something like that. And now when we participate in those, we've had 150 riders at them. The American Giro is a 2-day event. It's still a time trial. You are given, a route sheet, and then, you ride off in the morning. You have a departure time. You have a time you're expected back for lunch, and at lunch you check out. You have a time you're expected back at the end of the day. The rules aren't super strict. If you show up early, we're known to kind of hang out and just wait next to the time clock. If you punch your card early, which is easy to do if you get spaced out, you do get docked the points. So you have to make sure you actually show up on the time card and punch your clock at the time. But it's not a strict competition event like this, like serious big money races where there's actual spotters out there who are seeing where you are. If you show up early, you get docked your points. So it's a competition like that. And then there's another element of it where you go through an agility course and you're given a very exact time. So a bunch of cones like you've seen in practice sessions or other there's a lot of videos of police officers doing really cool tricks through cone sections, stuff like that. Similar to that, you're given a very exact time down to the thousandths of a second, and the timing is done with optical sensors. And basically, you have to get down to exactly that time. Say it's 28.284 seconds. You have to go through this set of cones, not put your foot down, not miss a cone, not run over a cone, not leave the course, and get there exactly on time. So the story is the Giro is won in the agility course. It's lost on the actual ride by getting lost or breaking down. Chase truck follows you, and it's a real event. I mean, we say it's not a real competition, but the agility is very tough. And the other thing is the rules are it's only open to bikes that are made in 1967 or earlier, max CC 305. So you're doing about 150 to 200 miles a day on very tiny roads, often dirt roads, on these tiny ancient machines. And so it's a real endurance test for your body and for your machine. So we actually right up here, my trusty BSA C15, which I built, I call it my garbage pile bike. I built from parts. I rode it in 5 Giros, and it only got me into the chase truck one time, and that was when my Yamaha XS 750 coil blew up on me. That I was using in there. Otherwise, I've been on the side of the road. I've done a ton of roadside repairs. And as a mechanic, half the fun for the Giro for me has always been how little can I prepare my bike, and what kind of cool roadside repairs can I do to keep it going. So it's a ton of fun for that regard. But if you're not into that, there's a chase truck that follows you. So the Unsprung, what we've done is we've said, the Giro was a ton of fun, but it's a little intense. It's 2 solid days. It happens, in remote locations. You tend to have to travel for it. We said, what if we did like a Giro light? And so we created the Unsprung Rally. So instead of leaving at riders meeting at 7 a.m. and leaving at 8 a.m., our riders meeting is about 9 o'clock, and we leave about 9:30 or 10. It's only one day, and we're open to any machines at all. We don't have any size limitations. We don't have any age limitations. So we basically are classified by the age of the bike, because we do like to see the classic bikes, performing together, competing together, just hanging out together, basically. But people have done them on modern Harleys. People have done this on sport bikes. It's pretty fun to watch a sport bike try to negotiate really tight cones. Even funnier to watch somebody on a fat boy try to do that. So the little bikes do have an advantage, but there's no reason why you can't do it. And our Unsprung is, there's some people who do the Giro who are really competitive, bring their A game to it, and they're they're down to tenths of a second as far as who's winning the whole day. But there's a lot of people that just don't care at all, and it's just a ton of fun. So it's going to take place here. It's taking place in about 2 weeks on the 30th of September, 2023. If you're watching this in the future, if you are watching in the future and you missed this one, stay tuned to us, because we do normally do it every year, and we're trying to get back on that schedule. The agility course just takes place either out here in front of our beautiful shop in downtown Turners Falls, situated next to one of the greatest skate parks in a small town that I've seen. This place is full of kids and adults who should know better every single day. It's really fun to be a part of this. And it was actually, side note, one of the reasons that brought us to this location was all the activity that was happening over there. But anyway, we do the agility course either here on the side of the building, in the back of the building, sometimes a mix of the two, and we just make it up as we go, as far as what seems like it's kind of hard. Sometimes we're a little bit too hard. One year we had people trying to ride on a 2x4. That's hilarious. You think you can do it, but you can't. It's actually far harder than it seems. And then we'll have some really tight corners, and sometimes we'll do something that's the equivalent of like a slow race, where it's really not that many turns, but you have to go to make your time. You have to ride incredibly slow, and really challenges the really basic riding stuff, and it's way harder than it seems, and it makes it a ton of fun. So yeah, it's a good time. It's fun just to hang out anyway. Our lovely shopmate here, nice snack parlor, will be here serving shaved ice, excellent organic, locally sourced syrups and shaved ice. And there's a brewery across the way. Our other neighbors across the other side of the park here, local brewery. They will be open in the afternoon and the evening. And it's a good place to come and hang out. Plenty of other restaurants and stuff and food. So it's a ton of fun. We'll try to post the videos of it as we do it. It's still time to sign up if you're local. If you're not local, take a road trip. Come see us. Yeah, stay tuned. And again, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.